The monochromatic polygon project appears complicated at first, but if you read the directions and follow along with this tutorial, it is actually fairly straightforward. This piece of paper is just the instructions, and it also has the 3 examples of the polygon animals you can choose from. So you're gonna get a piece of regular drawing paper. You're gonna write your name and block on the bottom right corner of your paper. If you are going to make a bat or a cat, you're going to hold your paper in landscape orientation, so long ways. If you're going to draw the wolf, you're going to hold your paper in portrait orientation, so tall ways. I'm going to make the cat for this example, so I'm going to put my name and my block in the bottom right corner. Ms. Orchard. And we'll say that I'm in block 5. The next piece of instruction tells you to fold the paper in half, hot dog way for the wolf, hamburger way for the bat or the cat. So I'm just gonna fold it hamburger way. Using a pencil and a ruler, I'm going to carefully recreate the shapes that make up my design. So if I look at the cat that's on my instruction sheet or on your laptop screen, I want to start by plotting out some points that I'm going to connect with my ruler. I need to fit the entire half of the cat face on this piece of paper. I want to make sure I'm drawing on the crease, and I want to make sure that none of it goes off of the paper. I can see that this ear here is very, very tall. So to start the forehead, I'm actually going to make the forehead start right about here. I'm going to make a point. I'm going to scooch my pencil sideways and make a point. This is a fairly sharp angle. And it angles again slightly. I'm going to start connecting my dots so that it makes sense to you. I'm working with a pencil to start in case I make an oops. I can always erase it. On the example on Classroom, my wolf example, there is an oops where I drew lines that I didn't like and erased them, and you can't even tell when it's done. Okay. If I'm looking at the lines from this point, I have another point that roughly lines up with this first point I made on the paper. So I'm going to make a point, and it connects up here. And then I've got another point right about there-ish. And it's okay if it's not exactly perfect, as long as I can see you are using a ruler, you're using pencil to start with, and you're making careful observations of one of the 3 designs. If you're feeling really ambitious, like you really want a challenge, you can look up your own polygon animal, but remember you're only drawing half of it because we're going to use the transfer method to make a symmetrical design. Let's look at the cat's snout. We've got the ear done, so we come down to about here, and then connect sideways for the nose. Move that line over just a little bit. You don't have to draw the cat. I'm really just doing this technique to show you how to plot out your points and connect them together. The bat has a lot of points, so if you feel like the bat is too challenging, try the cat, which is the easiest, or the wolf, which is the next easiest. And again, if you are going to challenge yourself and find a polygon animal on your own, make sure it's something that you could do independently. So you've got the understanding of how to do this. And you're just gonna make that design happen for this activity. Okay, I've got my lines, got a couple more lines left to do on the cat. You can see it's not exactly like the printout, but it's pretty darn close. I get this point right about here. Got another point right about there. Then it connects here. That is a straight line. I'm gonna have a really sharp angle, so I'm gonna move my line down. It's okay if you have little eraser marks, not a big deal. I missed my dot, that's pretty close though. We are gonna transfer this design by tracing all of your lines with a crayon as well. So the crayon's a little bit thicker than your pencil. If you're doing this activity at home for whatever reason, you don't have a crayon, you can use your pencil with the transfer method. You just have to make your graphite very, very dark. I'm making my graphite very dark right now, just so it shows up well on my camera. This needs to come lower because this is going to be like a lower line right here. I'm going to move that down. So I'm looking at my dots and my lines. I'm looking at my reference image. That's gonna fit perfectly. Okay. You'll notice that because I folded my paper the way I did, my name is on the back. Not a big deal. So your next task is to trace all of these lines with a black crayon. I'm going to time lapse this. You are going to use your ruler. Please practice good craftsmanship. After you've traced all of your lines with your black crayon and your ruler, you're going to unfold your artwork. And for this transfer process to work, you're going to fold the blank side of your artwork so that it's overlapping your crayon lines with a big Sharpie. And again, if you're working from home, you can use a different tool. We're going to use the round end. So I'm holding my paper with my thumb and my index finger. Because I can see through this paper, it's just regular printer paper, I can see exactly where I need to apply pressure. You need to apply a good amount of pressure. Be careful not to rip your paper. You'll notice I'm not slamming my tool, I'm rubbing the end of my tool. Also, this kind of dealio, that's not really efficient. Use the end of your tool to apply pressure, okay? So we're applying pressure, going over my lines. I'm gonna open it up to check. It's transferring pretty well. I can see I need to apply more pressure on the mouth area and next to the eye. Now I'm gonna trace my black lines with my ruler and my crayon again. Once I've traced my design and have a nice bold black outline around everything, I'm going to use either crayons or colored pencils. You cannot use markers for this activity because it's really hard to get different tints and shades of a marker. So this artwork will be monochromatic, which means different tints and shades of one color. I'm a big fan of the crayons that we have in the art room because a lot of crayons are already tints and shades of a color. So I can look in my crayon box, I can look in the open box of crayons in the art room, and I can take out all of the shades of orange, for example, if I'm going to use orange. I'm also going to use white and black to mix if I need to. And I'm going to color the shapes in my animal's face different tints and shades of one color. Okay, so I am going to time lapse this as well, but before I do that, you have to remember that you cannot have shapes that are the same tint or shade sharing a side. They can share a corner, but they can't share a side. So keep that in mind. You also do want to keep your colors symmetrical because the design is symmetrical. So if I make this shape regular orange, I would also want to make this shape regular orange. Another pro tip I want to give you is that if I'm going to color an area in, especially with this bold black outline, I'm going to use yellow orange for the eye. I would outline it first to give it a nice barrier between the black crayon and the color, and then color it in. You can change the intensity of your color by pushing down harder. I do recommend that you work on top of your portfolio. That goes for both crayons and colored pencils, okay?